Hi guys, welcome back to the Revive Stronger podcast. I'm your host, as always, Steve Hall, and I'm excited to announce a roundtable podcast with two amazing natural pro bodybuilders. Both of them are pros with the WNBF and competed at WNBF Worlds just last year. So we're going to talk about their experience there, talk about their placing, and these guys are elite. We dig into what does their training look like? What does their background look like? Did they do any other sports or endeavors before they go into bodybuilding? How old are they? How long have they been competing? What is their competitive history? What things they've had to unlearn to be more successful? What lifestyle habits do they have to be as successful as they are? They also get their advice surrounding people who are considering going enhanced. And also they give us some updates in terms of their future competitive endeavors and what they want to achieve in the future. It's really great to have both Ben and Oscar on because they're quite contrasting in some unique ways. I think that was quite interesting to dive into. So guys, I think you're going to love this chat. This podcast is brought to you by MacroFactor, the smartest nutrition app on the market. Think of it like MyFitnessPal, but supercharged. It outperforms it in every single way. You just enter your details and goals, log your food, and wait. From there, MacroFactor fine-tunes your plan automatically, giving your body exactly what it needs to stay on track and reach your goals, without the guesswork. If you ever get paralysis by analysis and end up guessing what nutrition you need, you'll dig MacroFactor, as it will give you the science-backed targets individualized to you and your goals. Plus, it will adjust your calories just like a coach on a week-to-week basis to keep up with the changes in your metabolism. So ditch the outdated apps and get with the times. Download MacroFactor today and use my code STRONGER to get 2 weeks completely free via the App Store or Google Play, or find it linked in the description below. Now with that said, let's get into today's show. Gentlemen, I don't have a surprise for you anymore because talking off air, we realized both of you came second at WNBF Worlds, which is a fantastic achievement in for itself. I don't know how you guys feel about it though, and I think that would be a really interesting place to start. So I don't know if I'm going to start with Ben. How did you feel about placing second last year at Worlds?
Well, that's the position I were going for. I think because Barda were competing and I knew he were, I just thought, well, he's got first automatically because he always comes first. And then as it transpired, he came fourth. So I actually had a good chance of winning, but I got the position that I wanted, second. But in the circumstances, I probably had a chance to win it because I forgot what we call the guy that won it, the French, is it Samuel Hartmann?
Yes, exactly.
He came first, but I did actually beat him 4 weeks before at the Germany show. So I were happy, but slightly gutted as well.
Was there anything, did you just think that was down to, I guess, the subjective nature of judging, or do you feel like you were slightly off, or he was more on? What happened in those weeks? Do you think that changed the result, or do you have any inkling?
Yeah, well, I think that extra 4 weeks he got a bit leaner, so I think he did have a bit more fat to lose, and I was already lean, and I did a show, I think literally the week before, the Natural Olympia, and I got ill going home, and yeah, possibly a bit subjective. They were saying the lighting wasn't the best at that show. It favoured the bigger guys, and I were definitely looking good. So in me pictures, the way I was looking off stage, I thought, yeah, this is the best I've looked. But they put me to, they must have had me sixth to start with. The first call out, they were calling everyone out, and I thought, I'm not going to make first call out here. And I've watched it back. The front relaxed. I just couldn't. My quad separation just wasn't there. It just wasn't visible. I don't know what happened to my quads, but that's a usual weakness of mine. They just kind of fade. So that particular pause, which they held us in for, as you know, for ages, for 5 minutes, I were weak on that pause, but came into the middle more during the muscularity rounds.
That makes a lot of sense, him getting leaner. Also, if that lighting did favor maybe more symmetry and kind of less detail, Samuel's one of the most symmetrical bodybuilders, tiny waist, crazy X frame, and you're known for your conditioning. Not that you have poor symmetry, no one can in the pro ranks, right? But yeah, so it sounds like actually second place wasn't such a bitter taste because it was almost a surprise because you weren't expecting to do that well almost. But coming second then to someone who you'd previously beat is also a bit of a
Well, I just had to look at AJ at the end. I come off stage, I was like just looking for his reaction, and he kind of just went like you could tell he were gutted. I thought, oh, I know what you mean. I were close, but like I say, second at WNBF Worlds after coming seventh, and I think third, then second, so getting closer.
Oscar, same question to you. How did it feel for you coming second at Worlds?
To be completely frank, I didn't care whether it was first, second, fifth. I don't really care about any of that because at the end of the day, I know it has to do with the judges and what they think. I came in thinking top five. Um, yeah. So when I got second, I was like, all right, cool. I don't pay much mind to it. I know the two times that I've gotten second in my bodybuilding career, which spans a whole 5 shows, I've lost to 2 world champions, so I'll take that as a win. I honestly don't even think about it. I don't really care much for it, which
It's quite
sounds
refreshing.
counterintuitive.
Yeah, I think people, high level competitors, there's a range of them, right? I look at, or at least from what I've heard of from like C-Bum, he seems similar to yourself, Oscar, just kind of like chilled, like doesn't take all that seriously. Then you've got people like Michael Jordan, just like completely obsessed about being the best and almost to like a bit of an aggressive nature with him. So
Yeah.
I think it's whatever works for you, right?
Yeah. And for me, it's more, do I think that I can be better and potentially beat said person? I think so. I don't think anybody's unbeatable. Um, I know that I wasn't at my best at Worlds. I know that I have a ridiculous amount to improve on. So, I mean, I just take it as whatever, you know, I don't know what I'm going to look like next year. So we'll see what happens then. There's just too much going on. And for me, I feel like my family's more important than bodybuilding. So at the end of the day, I don't really sweat it too much.
That's good. Yeah, it's a nice perspective. We all say like bodybuilding should complement our lives and not take over. And so for someone
Yeah.
who's at the level you're at to have like, hey, family's number one, bodybuilding's not that deep. It's nice. I didn't realize actually that you competed so little because you're quite contrasting then to Ben, who has done, I don't know how many shows you've done, Ben, but you're very deep into the number of shows. You kind of reeled off some of your highlights in terms of placings and things, but I don't know how easy it would be for you to like summarize where you started to where you are now and just give us kind of your general athlete journey. That would be great. I don't know who wants to, if Ben wants to start, and then Oscar,
Yeah,
you
I'm
can
curious. That one
give yours.
So yeah, first competed in 2016, just for the BNBF in the UK. Didn't do any other federation as a novice. So I won the novice category, won the British category, qualified for Worlds. Got there, wanted to become a novice world champion. I got there and they said there's not enough novices, so you're gonna have to go in with the open heavyweight, which I'm a bit gutted at because I just thought, well, you know, I'm not going to win now. But as it were, I did manage to win that. They just went for the leanest person. I'd say I was the leanest on stage. So I managed to get my pro card that year. 3 years off, competed again in 2019 for the BNBF and the UKDFBA. I had to get my pro card for UKDFBA. I won the overall and did the DFAC, the DFAC British final for the BNBF. Competed against David Kay, who I was unfortunate to go against for 2 seasons. He always seems to compete when I do. So he won that one. That's when I went to WNBF Worlds and I come seventh. So it really did fade towards the end. It was the show that we got there at 7 in the morning and we got home at about 3 o'clock the following morning. So it's that really long show. Then I competed again 2022. Did the DFAC Grand Prix in the UK again. Did the the PNBA European show now for the UKFBA back then. Won that show. Did the Natural Olympia, come second in that one. Did WNBF Worlds, come third, and then competed again last year and did quite a few shows again. So the PNBA Europeans, I won that show. Did the Natural Olympia, won that one, which were great. did the AMBF show, the one in Austria. I came third in that one, and then just finished with second at the WNBF Worlds.
Yeah, so for those that didn't catch that, you're a DFAC pro, PMBA pro, and WNBF pro. So every federation you've competed in, I think you've turned pro. Do you have any ambitions to go into the IFBB at all? Well, that leads me to that thought.
Yes, actually. I mean, there's that option in there. I think it would be good to have that pro card and just have them all, really. There's so many options in there these days for shows. It's just, I suppose, picking the right ones. I think for natural bodybuilding, the WNBF Worlds is probably the best one. But yeah, an IFBB pro card would be good.
Must cost. Actually, I guess I don't know. That's a thought that just came to mind, because obviously you have to pay a renewal fee every year. I imagine it costs a pretty penny if you're trying to maintain all of those cards. I don't know what the rules are for the other ones, though, to be fair, but imagine that's a bit out of your pocket.
Well, they messaged me actually, because I didn't keep my WNBF one up to date. I paid it. They said, "Oh, you didn't pay it last year, so you're gonna have to pay that again." So yeah, expensive year.
Yeah, but that's incredible. And I mean, you were thrown right in the deep end, but it just shows. It's funny, I was reflecting on Oscar shared a photo of him. I think it was just a picture of you not even having trained. And I looked at your physique and I was like, Oscar, that's how I looked after like 5 years in the gym. And this is like what the elite look like. And like for you, Ben, obviously there's lots of things that go into it, but not many people turn pro their first season. But you're an elite natural bodybuilder. You are literally, you guys are top of the top. So I don't think it's out of question for that to happen. Would you change any of that, Ben, out of interest? Like, were you glad to have turned pro that first season, or do you feel like you would have wanted more time as an amateur?
I took it, but in hindsight, I probably wasn't pro worthy. If you look at the physique, it wasn't, didn't look as good as some of the guys who turn pro now, or even some of the guys that don't turn pro. But I took it just because I just thought pro bodybuilder in first year. And yeah, like I said, my physique improved every time, I'd say. And last year I was 40, and I'd say that was the best I'd looked. So I'm hoping to probably look better again, but time's ticking a bit.
It hasn't held you back. I think that's the concern, is people, like you said, turn pro and they're not ready for it, and then they just don't swim. They sink when they go into the pro ranks. Now that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to swim with you guys, and I'm kind of struggling to get there. So we'll see what I can do when I next step on stage. So Oscar, what's your? You mentioned 5 shows. How's that looked for you? What's your kind of competitive history look like?
2018, I did the Monster Mash, WNBF Monster Mash, or INBF Monster Mash. I turned pro that year. That was my first show ever. I didn't really know what I was doing. I just did it because some guy was talking crap in the bathroom, claiming that I wasn't natural. So whatever. I did the show he was doing and got the overall. I got my pro card. I didn't compete in any pro shows until 2023. So I actually spent the next 4 years doing nothing. Competed again in 22 to get my pro card again, because in the WNBF, apparently, if you last a certain amount of time without competing, you lose your pro status. So
That was
2022,
a
I got
ruling
it again.
previous.
Yeah, so I got the pro card again in 22, looked at my physique, and I think Bada was the world champion at that time. And I'm like, I think I need a little bit more legs to even stand next to the guy. So I decided I'll do my pro debut 2023. Did the Monster Mash again. That's the only show I did because it's local and I don't like traveling. I went against Brian DeCosta. That's my luck. Took second on the pro debut. I was going to do Worlds that year, but just decided not to. It was in Seattle and that didn't travel. 24 came around. Everything was happening in Boston. It's right where I'm from. So I said, why not? I did the Monster Mash again that year. I took first, and then I did Worlds and I took second there. So I really haven't competed much. And to be honest, I don't plan on competing for long. I do it because I look the way I look. But if competing stopped tomorrow, I wouldn't compete again. I don't care for it.
That's fair enough. I think it's refreshing. Everyone competes for different reasons, right? And I think there'll be people that will hear you say that and be like, oh, I could kind of have that attitude towards competing. Like I feel like I have to take competing super seriously to do it at all. Whereas they might hear what you've said there and be like, oh, that's refreshing. Maybe I will just try it and see. And maybe it makes them get more serious later on.
Yeah.
But I think some people look at, I don't know, people more vocal on social media, even like myself. Like I'm very serious about the whole process. I document loads. Everyone has their own different way and approach. So that's cool to hear. And similarly to Ben, you turned pro almost, well, basically immediately, first show there. But again, we're talking about the top of the top here. Oscar, out of interest, how long have you been training and how long had you been training before you even took it to stage?
So I did martial arts for about 16 years. And oddly enough, that's the same amount of time that I got under my belt in bodybuilding. So I had a decent physique already coming into the gym. I actually went into the gym because of a heartbreak, and my buddy was like, dude, your arms are insane. They've been insane since I knew you in high school. Why don't you give this a shot? Cool, trained for a couple of years, and then I saw my body changing in a good way. And I haven't stopped since. So I'm on my 16th year now.
Incredible. Yeah, that's yeah, again, like I said, when you shared the photo over on, and if people haven't seen these guys' physiques, you need to just go check out their Instagrams. I'm going to have that linked in the description here. But you shared the photo of kind of you before even stepping into the gym, and like, yeah, you're already in very good shape that a lot of people would be happy with. So when you start then giving the stimulus and the overload like you do and training as hard as you do, you're only going to go up from there. For yourself, Ben, I think it had also been quite a while that you'd been training before you stepped on stage. Am I correct?
Yeah, so 32 when I first competed, but I was training quite a bit before then, but not training properly, I'd say, like not training like a bodybuilder. I never even used to have a plan. I used to just go into the gym, just make it up. I was driving down just thinking, well, what's not aching? I'll do a bit of that. And then I only started doing a plan when I first competed. So my coach gave me a plan, and now we're even PTing. And I was saying to people, you don't need a plan. You just go to the gym, just train. So that didn't quite work. I had to just start devising plans. But yeah, first got a coach, and that really helped me at 32, just like a structured plan. Taught me about diet. He was called Ant Sidrick, a local coach, well, a coach from England. Taught me about flexible dieting that first year, and I took it to the extreme. I think that's where flexible dieting were really taking off. And I was just having sweets before bed, or having all sorts. And it worked ultimately, but yeah, we're quite late when I first competed, I'd say.
I know from you, Ben, you're really into your protein oats. Are you still having that multiple times a day?
I've just finished the bowl now. So yeah, I'm still into it. Not as much as prep, but once or twice a day at the minute.
A step up from sweets though, so that's good.
Yeah.
Ben, if you
I'm
don't
the
mind me
same.
asking,
Protein
how
oats
old
are a
are
big
you?
love.
I'm 41.
You look incredible, man. Sheesh. That's awesome.
How old are you?
I'm 39. I mean, I'm right there, but I pegged you at like 35, 36.
I'll take that. I'll take that.
Sheesh. That's awesome. Good for you.
I thought you were younger as well. I was going to say early 30s, so I'm going to say you got loads of time.
Right.
Which, yeah.
I'm right behind you guys at 35, so you're definitely in your kind of prime years, as it were. So it sounded like, Oscar, you were thinking about competing next year. Is that right?
Yeah. Yeah. Want to expand, do a couple
Do you
more
have goals in
shows.
mind?
Mr. America, I want to do that. I'm gonna do Worlds again. Probably a show in between here and there. Yeah, I'm very just not into competing at all, dude. It's the dieting is tough, man. So I actually look up to guys like Ben who just grind it out and just good for you, man. I can't do multiple shows in a year. It just I would die. Like my kids and my wife, like because I get so detached when I'm on prep. Because when I do prep, I get like tunnel vision. I don't want to talk. I don't want to go to birthday parties. I don't want to do anything but think about the gym. That's just not good when you have family and all that stuff. So I actually admire guys like Ben and yourself. Just you guys are absolute monsters. So I'm like geeking out because I actually look up to physiques like you guys. I don't care about muscularity or any. It's like the grind. That's what really gets me. The mental aspect of it is just crazy to me.
And yeah, that's I don't think you've got kids, right, Ben? Am I right in saying? Or have you actually? You've got a daughter.
I've got 2 daughters, yeah.
Two daughters. Sorry, yeah. I was trying to remember. I can't remember. I haven't got kids. I've got a dog, and they are not the same level of commitment. And I can be as much of an ass to the dog, and the unconditional love from dogs is real. So
I've heard you say that actually. You was cruel to you were shouting at your dog.
yeah, too much. But so I can definitely relate to you, Oscar, in terms of you become apathetic, but also just a less empathetic person, and that's not easy around kids because then you quite quickly reflect upon it because you're not a permanent asshole. So that's actually an interesting question, I guess, for Ben here. How is that competing at the level that you're competing at with the goals that you have, whilst also maintaining that kind of family to a high level?
Difficult. I find it hard towards the end. I think everyone does really. Just towards the end, you don't want to talk. I have my food in a separate room. I do. It's a bit of a personality change, really, which always happens to me. And I admire people that are quite chilled towards the end of the prep, because I certainly am not chilled. I just get very irritable, which I'm sure everyone does. And the year is like a big sacrifice, isn't it? It's a massive long diet, and you can't really go on holidays like you would do. So all the family are in it together, really. So that's one of the downsides, I'd say, of competing, especially towards the end.
Right.
Yeah, that's tough. Oscar, before we move on to Ben and your next competitive goals, if you have thought that far ahead, in terms of your physique, I know you mentioned obviously coming second at Worlds, but you felt like you could be better. In terms of bringing your physique to stage next year, what aspects do you want to be improved most of all?
I want to get my chest slightly bigger, shoulder width, outer sweep on the quads, hamstrings can always be huge. My back has taken a backseat. I don't really train it as much as I do. I used to, at least. But yeah, I'm doing shoulders almost every day, at least the side delts almost every day. Hamstrings have taken a huge priority, and then the quad sweep. So just a lot of leg work.
And out of interest, have you always been self-coached, Oscar? You've never had a
Yeah.
coach in your corner take you to stage?
Correct.
Will that be the same again?
Yeah, I don't think I'm ever going to get a coach.
You
I
have?
don't make money off bodybuilding because I have my regular job. If I did, or if I had, I don't know, like a meal prep company or something that could benefit me in the back end, maybe I would invest in it. I don't want to be the best in the world. If that happens, amazing. But there's no business aspect behind it for me to invest that type of money and then do whatever. I'd just rather learn it myself. And if I could teach it to someone else, great. So I actually look at your stuff a lot. I look at Alberto Nunez a lot, or Eric Helms too. Like, and I pick what I can and I apply it. And if it works, great. And if it doesn't, then it doesn't.
Awesome. Yeah, we need to get you a sponsor, Oscar, at least like a clothing supplement sponsor. This guy, you got a good following on Instagram. If there's someone listening, we got to hook you up with some monetary benefit. Also, the WNBF. Let's get these prizes like really worthwhile, so yeah, you can take it to that level. Because I want to see you at your ultimate best. Not to say you need a coach for that, but coaches can help. But they are expensive, right? There'd probably be people that would coach you for free. Don't know if that would work for you, but I imagine there'd be people that would do that.
I would feel terrible. Taking someone's time just for like a vanity type of, nah, I wouldn't do that.
Yeah, it's a tough one when it's not charity by any means, because you'd be doing the coach a hell of a favor of putting your name to that coach, so long as they did a good job with you. So there's a bit of pressure on that end, but at the same time, I can understand your feeling and sentiment to that too. So anyway, it's a thought, but interesting enough to hear that. With yourself, Ben, then, when have you got eyes on another season ahead?
Potentially next year. I'm not fully committed yet. the off season's not gone as well as what I'd planned so far, really. But yeah, I'm hoping next year.
Can I dig into why it's the off season?
It's not as strict as it were when I had AJ, because I had AJ for the off season and the prep. And, I'm not tracking my diet. I'm just kind of eyeballing my protein, I'm eating a lot of curries. I must go to a place in Accrington every 2 days. It opens at 11 in the morning. You can get a curry or a chicken kebab. I don't really reveal that much, but I have now. But yeah, the diet's not been perfect. And I did have an injury after Worlds, which were niggling at me for a while, IT band issue. That's finally gone. But yeah, just probably next year, I'm thinking.
Cool. Yeah, I think when you're at the level again that you guys are, where you've got the physique and the potential to do that well in shows and turn it around that quickly, like it makes sense. Like a year off, then back into things. You get that recovery time, family time, so on and so forth, and then you can kind of commit to it again, which is very exciting. I think it will be interesting for the listeners, and I'm also interested to hear about both of your training. So I don't know if, Oscar, I saw you sharing again on your story some of your leg training, and I was just like, whoa, that's a hit of volume that this guy is doing. I didn't know the frequency or any of those sort of insights, but I don't know how much of your training you can share in terms of, I guess, frequencies, philosophies, this sort of thing.
Yeah. So for me, I train a body part once I feel it's recovered. So usually for my quads, it's every 48 hours or so. I do a lot of volume, but it's not super heavy weights. So I'm more focused on the contraction. So I'll do quads typically Sunday, Wednesday, Friday. And then hamstrings, I'm doing Monday. I also do them on Wednesday with quads. And then I do them on Friday as well with quads. So I'm training both parts of my leg, or at least the important parts, 3 times a week. My chest or anything that I'm prioritizing, I also train 3 times a week. So I'm usually in the gym for about 2 to 3 hours. And a lot of that is more, yeah, there's volume involved, but a lot of it is more me experimenting with angles that work for me. Uh, so if I'm doing a incline press for, I'll add a block to my upper back to see if I can incline a little bit more to get a better stretch. So a lot of it is experimentation. Most of it is just compound. It's just a lot of heavy craziness, but nothing that's going to injure me or put me out of commission for longer than 48 hours. So I don't train to failure. I don't do any of that. It's just a lot of volume, like you said.
Do you use like a relative intensity scale, or do you just push to like, hey, I know I've got some slow reps here. I'm close to failure, but I'm not there.
Yeah, I don't use a scale. It's typically within the exercise I'm doing, I've noticed that around 15 reps is when I start feeling like, okay, I can crank out 5 more, but is it really going to do much for me? Am I going to break form or, you know? So I usually just stop everything at 15. If I can do 15, I'll add 10 to 15 pounds and try to aim for 15 again. If I can't get to 15, I'll stay at that weight until it's just incrementally
And
going
you,
up that way.
yeah, yeah. So the clear progressive overload, which obviously
Yeah.
absolutely key. Do you, I guess, don't go below like 10 reps? You're working mostly 10 to 15. Is that right?
It depends. So I train a lot intuitively. On my heavy days, which is typically Wednesdays for quads, I'll do Smith machine squats for 5 to 8. So it all depends on feel. If I can get 5 to 8 at say 5 plates, I might be stupid and put 6 on for 1 rep just to see if I can do it. Is it going to do anything for me in terms of bodybuilding? Absolutely not. Is it going to do anything for me in terms of my mentality when come Sunday when I'm putting 5 plates on and I try to get 10? Yeah. Like if I tell you that my
I
training
can totally
really
see that.
doesn't have a structure, or I literally go in and I know it's counter to what Ben said earlier, where when he first started, he was just like, whatever, I'll just do. That's literally how I train. I just do whatever. But I do have a structure in terms of body parts. So I know on Mondays I'm training chest, shoulders, triceps, and hamstrings. So and that follows throughout the week. Wednesday strictly legs. Friday I'm doing shoulders, a little bit of abs and quads and hamstrings. It's just Like I know what body parts I'm hitting. I don't know the set structure. I don't know the rep ranges. I don't know any of that. I just let my body, which sounds ridiculous, but it's a work, I guess.
Not at all. I think I always use the analogies versus like nutrition. It makes me think of like flexible dieting versus set meal plans. If you go too
Yeah.
extreme in one direction, it starts not quite working. But so long as you're meeting the principles of, hey, I'm doing sufficient work for that muscle, taking it sufficiently close to failure, I'm looking to progressively overload over time. I'm not switching things up so much that I'm just relearning exercises all the time.
Yeah.
You can be pretty flexible. I think people would be surprised how flexible they can be. Just
Yeah.
a lot of bodybuilders love that structure, and when they find it, it's like they're locked in and they just want to go at that. So yeah, it takes a bit of a different mindset to be a bit more free and flexible about it, I think.
Yeah. Training, I've never looked at it as a structured thing. Like you said, as long as you're following the principles, I think you'll be okay. For me, I found the exercises that work specifically for my body, and I haven't deviated from those exercises in 16 years. So I don't know. It's worked great for me. There's days that I don't have it where I can only get 3 reps. Okay, let's drop the weight. Let's get 25 reps. Or, I do mess around with stuff like that. I do drop sets. I do pause reps. You name it. I have all the tools in my bag, and whatever I feel like doing that day, I do it. But like you said, as long as I get the stimulus, I think I'm okay.
Yeah. For yourself, then, Ben, how does your training tend to look at the moment?
It's much less volume, so probably about an hour in the gym. When I was with AJ, it was legs push pull throughout the prep. The training plan never changed. I enjoyed it. I was recovering except for IT band issue, but just since then I've just really reduced the volume. Some of my leg workouts will just be about 7 or 8 sets. So I'll just maybe do 2 sets of hack squat, 2 sets of leg press, 1 set of lunges, 2 leg extensions, and some calf raises for one of them. It's just very low volume, but they're good sets and they are taken to failure. So we're slightly different in that I've always just pushed to failure. I've always just like logged it, try and beat it, especially on legs. But upper body, I only log like the main exercises like your shoulder presses and your chest presses. I'm not really logging as much the other exercises at the minute. But yeah, it's a much lower volume approach, especially as I've got older.
Have you got priorities for your training at the moment, Ben? Are you prioritizing any particular areas?
I'm trying to bring up my glutes actually. So throughout that year, I wasn't targeting glutes; it were all quads because it is my weak area, and I did bring them up, but they ended up fading towards the end. So we were more just retaining the muscle. I think I'm perhaps doing too many steps at the end and just too many shows. Maybe they did just fade, and perhaps the lighting wasn't great. But we never touched glutes once. Potentially that was causing an injury as well because it was just all quads. Since I started training my glutes, that's gone. But we were digging hard to get the glute striations, and they just never came. And I just think it's that muscle not been developed that stopped it. So that's what I'm trying to do this year.
That sounds familiar. Trying to get
I know
those.
you were pushing for glutes, weren't you?
Yeah, and you got to keep the eyes on the physique as a whole. Sometimes you can start letting other areas diminish for that, just that walnut butt, which ends up, yeah. I mean, I look at Babacar. Obviously, he was the overall winner, and he's not someone who's got those crazy lines in his glutes, right? He's crazy as a bodybuilder. So I think it's interesting when you reflect upon like who's the best in the world. Have they got those lines in their glutes? No, so they're obviously not needed to be at that level. But conditioning is your card though, Ben. So I can see why. And same for me. It's a card that we kind of can't rely on structure as much. So we kind of go down that route a bit more. So I can see why you're kind of leaning on that.
Yeah, you don't know where to draw the line sometimes, do you? It's like, well, it's good to have a coach. You just end up pushing and perhaps push too hard.
Yeah, and sometimes you only learn in hindsight, right? Sometimes it pays off, sometimes it doesn't. So that's cool. Yeah, it's interesting to hear about your contrasting kind of training in that regard. But you see this with tons of bodybuilders, and you see it with tons of competitors at the highest level in different sports. I can't remember, I was listening to a podcast there talking about some of the top professional tennis players and how they all had just different mentalities, different approaches. When you pull it back to the principles of what they're doing, it was like, hey, it's like there's many roads to Rome. and you just have to find what works, what jives with you. And it could even just be a personality thing. Like there's so many, like it's like you said, Oscar, psychologically, you just needed to do that single. It sets you up for better training. It doesn't sound optimal, but for you, arguably it is. So that's really interesting. For both of you, if I start with you, Oscar, before you stepped on stage as a bodybuilder and before you got deep into bodybuilding, were you doing any other sports?
No, that was always just athletic. Aside from martial arts, no, I really wasn't doing anything.
How about yourself, Ben?
I played a lot of sports when I was younger, football, cricket, athletics at school, bit of basketball at school as well, skateboarding when I was very young. But the gym was the one constant thing that I always like fit. I always, especially when I play in football, or soccer as they say in America, I look the part. But then they'd find out I'm not actually that good. But I remember playing against Accrington Stanley, so that's where I'm from, Accrington, playing for a lesser team. And I heard the assistant manager say, "Look at him." So I think they were watching me, but yeah, never. We're quite good enough.
That's fair enough. Next question is for you, Oscar. When you hear people talk about like genetic ceilings or meeting them natty max, what thoughts immediately come into your head?
That nobody knows what the hell they're talking about. It's all speculation. People look at me and they automatically assume I'm not a lifetime natural, the size of your arms are too big, this and that. And then 10 years from now, there's going to be a kid that's going to come up that's going to dwarf whatever I look like. And it's all going to start again. And I don't even bother with it. Honestly, it's ridiculous. But when someone says there's a genetic ceiling, maybe there is, maybe there isn't. But we're all going to find out, or we're all trying to find out at least. It's not going to stop me from training, not going to stop me from doing what I'm doing. It's such a weird topic because it's almost like trying to put us all into a box. And I refuse to believe that that exists. Do I believe there's a genetic ceiling? No. Can I prove it? No. But it's not up to me to prove. And the person that's saying there is a genetic ceiling can't prove it either. So we're all in the same boat, just swimming in different directions.
Yeah, I definitely relate to that answer there. It's like you can't, like theoretically, yes, but you could never prove it. So what's the point of even worrying about it? Normally I see it as cope, unfortunately, where people are like, oh, I haven't gained any muscle for this much time. It's like, then you dig into like, have you been doing what you actually need to be doing to gain muscle? It's like, not really. Yeah. That's more of your issue. Out of interest, Oscar, actually, just thinking about it, I don't notice that you get, I don't know if you've had it. I probably, I'm not close enough to you to know, but you obviously you're freaky. I imagine you've had your fair share of people doubting that you're natural.
Oh yeah.
But I think with your content style, you don't bait people like you who tend to, like that I see who get the most hate.
I don't put natural on any of my posts. I don't put lifetime natural on my profile. I don't care. Because at the end of the day, whether I'm natural or not natural, it doesn't change how many reps you're going to do. It literally does nothing for someone else. I've read comments where people are like, oh, we should stop promoting these drug abusers or like speaking about enhanced athletes. And I'm just like, do you feel the same way when you see a heroin addict in the street? Do you go up to them and try to stop them from doing it? You're focusing on other people's lives. And I get when it comes to someone that's making money off of bodybuilding, that's fine. But the person that's purchasing the program is choosing to do so. That's not your call. You don't go to every car salesman and say, oh, you're a sleazebag for selling cars to people. It's none of your business. If that person wants to use steroids or not use steroids, whatever. Who cares? For me, it's just, I'm not going to get into the argument. I don't care. People already assume I'm lying. There's WNBF athletes that think I'm on steroids. Like I hear it backstage from competitors.
Wow.
Like I literally at Worlds, this happened. And it's just whatever.
That's mad.
Yeah, there's people that would literally say hi to you in your face, and then you find out later on they were telling everyone. Dude, I'm 39. I don't have time for any of that yet. So I just don't care because at the end of the day, I'm not going
Yeah.
to convince anyone that I'm not. So why even bother? They already have a preconceived notion that you're lying to them, and no matter what you say, you're guilty. So why even bother?
Have you always felt that way, or is that developed as you've experienced more of it?
No, yeah, that came after. So when I first started posting on Instagram, because I'm like, hey, it's a new app, it's cool. People like shirtless dudes. I got on, and it was like just blatant. It was just, and my kids are there. My wife is on. So they don't need to see any of that. But yeah, once I got older, I was just like, wow, these people, there's just no convincing them. You can train with them, you can show them what you're eating, you can do anything. It does not matter. It's like trying to prove to an atheist that God is real. You are not going to do it. So why even bother? If you think I'm on steroids, congrats. If you think I'm natural, congrats. What are you doing with your life today that's going to make you better? I'm going to sleep
So well said.
just fine. So,
Yeah.
how are you going to cope? How are you going to deal with the situation? Because I could care less whether Nick Walker is natural or enhanced. I don't care. I don't sit here. Do you think Babacar is thinking, oh, he must be on steroids when speaking about me? He doesn't care. He's the best in the world right now. He does not care. I'm sure Ben doesn't care either. Like he's just living his life. It's just whatever. I don't know. People are weird.
Yeah, it's actually a great way of putting it in that, like trying to convince an atheist that God's real. It's just like almost people are that in like that they so much think that you're never going to convince them. Basically, they're just
Yeah.
completely down a completely different path of thinking to you, and it's I don't know. I guess it's for those that do believe in like have a faith and believe in God. Just something changes and they suddenly see like something different in life and they suddenly believe. That kind of happened to me with, like, for example, like Matt August. There was a time I really looked up to him, and then I was like, I'm never going to get this physique. And then I was like, oh, he's just on gear. And then I just continued doing my thing. I didn't really think too much about it. And I was like, Steve, you're an idiot. He's not. He's just been doing this longer. He's got different genetics to
Yeah.
you. Everyone's like built differently. Like he commits his life to this. Like, come on. So yeah, that was very well put. For yourself, Ben, I imagine you feel somewhat similarly from your head nodding, but if someone was to tell you like, oh, they think they're at their genetic ceiling, what kind of thing would you say to them?
Well, same thing that you said, you can't really prove it, so we could always just like push to improve. And I suppose you just look at your physique year on year and think, well, I've improved, but you never know if you've actually reached your peak. So it's that quest to do it that's quite addictive. I think that's why we keep competing.
Progress is happiness. I don't know if that's a quote from like The Pursuit of Happiness, like the Will Smith movie or something, but it was a quote that stuck in my head. I was just like, man, I love that. Every day I get to wake up and like invest into my bodybuilding career, and it's just so satisfying. So I'm so with you on that, Ben. Kind of a bit of a tangent, but for yourself, Ben, have you ever, I don't want to say, it sounds weird to say it this way for some reason, but like suffered from any kind of body dysmorphia? Have people said that to you? And maybe you haven't thought about it for yourself, but have you ever looked at your physique and like been pretty dissatisfied in any recent years? Or how do you feel when you think about your physique? Are you proud and like satisfied?
Yeah, but what I always say to my clients, especially like the guys as they get to the end of the fat loss, is that they're saying, "Oh, people are saying I'm skinny now." So again, a lot of that. I remember going to America in 2022 for me, I had to get my COVID jab, and I went to get it. And he said, "What are you going to America for?" And I said, "Oh, bodybuilding show." He's like, "Are you a bodybuilder?" I'm like, "Yeah." He said, "You don't look like one." I was just like, "Well, I am. I'm shredded under here." So you just get comments like that. I remember one of my clients, he did his last PT session with me, and he couldn't quite get below 100 kilograms. I said, "You just need to stick to the diet." He said, "Yeah, but I don't want to be scrawny like you." I was just like, "Ooh." I even Googled scrawny. I thought, what does that mean? So that you get comments like that, but I'm pleased with my physique. I don't get dysmorphia really.
How about yourself, Oscar?
Every day. Literally every day. It, but it's not in a negative sense where like I'm disappointed with my physique. It's just I look at the parts that I need to improve, and every day I'm checking for those improvements. I'm psychotic in that way where I think every session I'm building new muscle, and it's something that I can see, and I know that's not the case. Doesn't hurt me from trying and flexing every day in front of the mirror, but I just use it as posing practice. Uh, I think it's self-criticism, and I enjoy it. It pushes me to do better. And anytime I'm in the gym doing a session or I have extra time, I focus on those little things that I need to improve or that I feel I need to improve. Yeah.
Yeah, I think you drew a really nice defining line between like being kind of objective about how you can be a better competitor and looking at your
Yeah.
physique and what can be better and being like, that needs to be better to be more competitive, and body dysmorphia where, like, I don't know, if you were to Oscar say, oh, my arms are just completely tiny, Steve, like they need to come up massively, then we'd be like, right, Oscar, you sure those glasses are working there? Because I'm not sure they are. But like you said, adding those little bits of muscle, the quad sweep, that sort of thing, identifying that as to be a better athlete. Like the best athletes in the world are all doing that. They're looking at how they can make those small marginal improvements. And I think there's people that think every bodybuilder has body dysmorphia. Is the meme, as soon as you start going to the gym, you think you're forever small. But I think clearly you guys understand that, like, you're proud and have built a great physique. And I feel the same way. Like, I understand within the pro ranks and everything, like, yeah, I'm nothing. But within the average population, like, it's unreal, the physiques that we have. So yeah, it's great to hear that perspective. For yourself, Oscar, do you have any advice, I know this may even have happened to you, where someone has come to you and they're considering going down the enhanced route early in their career, so they haven't been doing natural bodybuilding long at all. Do you have any like words of advice for that person?
So yeah, that has happened more often than I would like. But anytime someone approaches me about steroids or anything like that, my first piece of advice is you're talking to a stranger that you don't know about drugs that could potentially kill you. I'm not the right person. Talk to your doctor. And chances are, if you do go on the enhanced route, you're not going to be Mr. Olympia. So why are you doing it? You want to be bigger? Okay, what's that going to help you with? You want to be stronger? Okay, what's that going to help you with? And once you start asking those questions, it kind of unravels. It's just an insecurity. They want to be bigger or stronger than X person. And when you start asking, well, how does that affect you personally? Being better than the next person? Do you sleep better at night knowing that your heart is enlarged? Oh, you know what? You're right. My kids are more important than bodybuilding. Okay. You should still talk to your doctor though. I've never recommended anyone not do what they want to do, but I always recommend speak to a professional or someone who can guide you into the effects of what this is going to do to you. Because it might be 2, 3 years that you feel great, you look great, and then down the line you're 45 and you're dead. So which one do you want to pick? Honestly, I started going to the gym, like I mentioned earlier, just because I wanted to feel better over a breakup. I keep going to the gym because I want to live long and be healthy and strong for my kids, my grandkids. Competing is just like a side portion of that, where I just look the way I look and I might as well. But I would continue going to the gym forever because I know what it does for my body. I mean, you look great, but inside you're actually healthy. You're not dying, which is, I think, is incredible. Hey, it's the reason me and Ben can look as young as we do. So I think it's
Well
an
said.
obvious choice, but some people really do want to be enhanced and they think that they have a shot of winning the Mr. Olympia. And I can't tell you how many times I've seen people hop on gear and they're just average. I mean, there's natural physiques that would smoke them. And it's unfortunate because now you're not healthy. You probably messed something up internally and you didn't build a great physique. None of the things you wanted happened. I don't know. Young kids these days, man, they're looking for fame too quickly. They want to get big. And it doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, it's wild to see how normalized taking anabolics has become. And I think your answer in terms of like seeking actual like professional help is great advice, because I think a lot of people just, I don't know, they talk to the biggest gym bro and who's your supplier, so on and so forth. And often that person has incentives. Oh, I'll coach you, and oh, I can get you a discount, and I don't know, they're making money from it. So it's a scary time. So yeah, advising that, obviously not being I appreciate you not being a holier than thou kind of bodybuilder. Everyone must be natural and go down the same path, because I think that's the wrong attitude. that can end up pushing people the wrong direction too. And just encouraging people to do it naturally for a bit, like see what you can do and learn the basics of what you're going to have to succeed at any level of bodybuilding, the basics of nutrition training. So yeah, great answer there. For yourself, Ben, have you had people approach you like, I'm thinking about going down this route? What words do you tend to give them, or any advice?
Well, I'd normally say I don't know anything about it. I'm not the person to talk to. So yeah, it's just risky, really. It seems like it's all like an underground market. You don't know what you're getting, and I think people like us, we're already in good shape already. I think that's one of the reasons why we don't jump on, is that people were accusing me, and I wasn't taking it. So I just thought no, so well, so I don't need to take it because I look like I take it. Um, so yeah, it's something that I've a bit ignorant to. I remember someone accused me of taking a drug that I've never even heard of. I just thought I've never even heard of that. So
Have you also had, so I'm guessing you've had people, like you just said, you've had people accusing you of you taking things. How do you feel about that? Does that make you feel like, hey, that's cool? Like you think I look as good as if I was taking PEDs, or you're like, man, you think I'm a liar? Like how does your kind of perspective look at it?
I probably don't get it as much as Oscar. So it's claim to fame, innit? If someone says that you're taking steroid, I'm a bit gutted that no
The
one said it for
ultimate compliment.
no one said it for a while, so I must not be doing that well. But I used to get on the defensive a bit. I used to think, well, I'm slaving away, and people think this. And Oscar's right. You can say everything to them, they still don't believe you. Some people, it's like you can tell by the way they look at it. They're like, "Yeah, you're lying." It's like, I'm not. What can I do to convince you? So I'm all right with it now. Like I say, it's not happened for a long time. Although I did have a client once, he come to a PT session and he was like, "Oh, you know what it's like when you first jump on and you get that buzz." I was like, "Oh," I said, "I don't take it." He says, "Do you not?" He said, "No." He said, "Oh, I thought because you compete, you take it." I'm like, "No," because it's on my bio and everything. Unlike Oscar, I keep putting drug free, drug free. So I keep putting that message, and still some people, not many, will say it.
Yeah, it's a really strange time. It's you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. Just like you're saying, like you put your post drug free because you're confident and you're like, yeah, I mean, I am, and you're trying to kind of promote that message. And then Oscar, you're kind of keeping it back because often people are like, oh, if you say you're drug free, you're clearly not. It's like
Yeah.
you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. You look like a swimmer when you're in clothes, and then when you like come and step on stage, like clearly you're on gear. This is natural bodybuilding, right? It's one of those, we don't get the big bucks like the Olympians, but we get the health benefits, the longevity, all of those big upsides without the risks, which I think is just tremendous, and why I think it's always been the path I've wanted to go down, is I get all the upside without the downside. And I also get to fit in clothes and sleep without a sleep apnea kind of setup and things like this. So that's awesome. For yourself, Oscar, within your bodybuilding journey, is there anything that you've had to kind of switch your mindset on? Anything that you were doing that was holding you back that you had to change your approach and philosophy with?
That's a really good question. Um, Not really. I've always had the same mentality since I did my pro show in 2018, or my amateur show in 2018. I honestly, it's just like a byproduct of the way I look. I don't want to offer coaching. I don't want to offer like online training. I don't care for any of it. This is legitimately a hobby for me. Uh, so like I said, I actually like you guys, like you, AJ, you guys you're my content. Like I follow you guys because I want to learn more, but not necessarily like teach it to other people in a sense, if that makes any sense at all.
Yeah.
I'm just a fan of the sport. I like watching physiques change. I like watching people who maybe aren't as genetically gifted rise through the pro ranks and do things that I feel like I wouldn't be able to do if I had their physique. Where there's people that I'm sure if they had my genetics, they would, I don't know, go into the IFBB and win Olympias or do whatever. And I don't care for that. I don't know. For me, this has always been just kind of like sure, I'll hop on stage and see what happens. And it's still like that. And I don't take myself too seriously. I don't take like competing too seriously. I don't take coming in second too seriously. I do my thing. Because at the end of the day, I have to be a father. I have to perform at my job. I have to be a husband. Like, bodybuilding doesn't do much for me. I lose money every time I compete. So it's like, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I would say the vast majority of bodybuilders lose money, and
Yeah.
actually, even at your level, you're losing money. So, yeah, that's it's gutting. That's an area where I hope for the future of natural bodybuilding we can improve and incentivize people like yourself to be able to invest more into it. But I think there could be a lot into the fact that you are so relaxed about it is a hobby for you, and whether you did take it to that next level of seriousness, that could hurt adherence, whatever it is, it could just you actually lead to worse results. But I also have a lot of respect for you for looking to learn and still kind of tinker with things and get more results and follow educators in the space. So even at your level, so that's great to know. For yourself, Ben, was there anything within your bodybuilding career that you were doing that you had to kind of unlearn and kind of reteach yourself, whether that be training, nutrition, anything?
Well, a bit like Oscar, I was following yourselves, AJ, and I coached myself in 2019. I was just getting snippets of information and utilising it myself. So that 2019 prep was a good one. Pretty much, well, it was self-coached, self-learnt. So you adjust it as you go. You could constantly listening to people like yourself, the new evidence that comes out, and then you're applying it to your training. Like the full range of motion, a big one recently, where everyone's doing like length and partials, and so you just hear these things, you try them. So you're constantly just adapting based on the info that's out there.
How have you liked the length and partials? It sounds like you tinkered with them.
Yeah, so I've just increased my range of motion. So that's what I was doing on, say, the hack squats and leg press. Half the weight is what I used to do, but all the way down, going up on my toes a little bit. But yeah, just doing full range on literally everything now.
Nice. How about yourself, Oscar? It sounds like you've liked some of the length and partial work.
Oh yeah, yeah. I've started incorporating them after my hard sets. So if I'm even with calf raises, especially with calf raises, actually, I'll do my full range of motion and right at those last 5 to 8 reps, I'm lengthening partially the whole way through. I do it with my quad training as well, leg presses, hack squats, uh, training on the balls of my feet. Like AJ does his hack squats. I mean, I've never seen that before, but he goes on his toes and then does them that way. I tried doing them that way. I feel my quads on fire, so now I'm doing it like that. Yeah, it's just those little pieces, man. But length and partials for sure. Those are magically painful.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I've said it so many times on this podcast. My calves never grew till I started. Well, they grew
Seriously,
probably
dude.
a little bit, but from length and partial calf work, it was like a complete game changer for me. I was like,
Oh
oh,
yeah.
finally, I'm getting like pumps and actually something going on, a contraction in my calf. So that was cool. And it's great to hear that again, like the top pros are keeping up to date with the science a little bit, tinkering with their own training, updating their own philosophies a little bit, and just looking to be better and better, which I think is great and speaks a lot to the natural bodybuilding scene, because we can't rely on PEDs. There's no supplement that's going to come out that suddenly is going to lead to way more gains or anything like that. So we have to be really smart lifters to kind of really progress our physiques to the level that you guys have. So that's really, really great. We've kind of have spoken about it a few times in terms of like natural bodybuilding, where it's going. And we talked about the IFBB. In fact, I guess this is a question because Ben has said you're interested in potentially trying like a show to be able to get your IFBB pro card. Oscar, are you interested in going down, and are you stuck with the WNBF? Not stuck, that's the wrong word. Are you sticking with the
That's probably
WNBF,
the
or are
right
you
word.
looking to potentially try? Are you interested in the IFBB, like their natural side of things, or where
Not
are
at
you
the moment.
looking?
I don't really care for it. I want to compete against the best. Having an IFBB pro card doesn't mean anything to me. Can I get one? Yes. What is that going to do? Am I going to compete against the top guys that are natural because it has IFBB in front of it? I don't think so. I don't think the IFBB pros currently, if you were to put all the naturals together, would be, I mean, some of them are top tier, but we just got to get everybody together. I don't care what federation it is. That doesn't appeal to me. the WNBF testing, the WNBF history, the WNBF prestige is what drove me to be here and stay here. So if IFBB wants to do natural, congratulations. I don't care. It's whatever. I don't think that's, and that's just personally for me. The IFBB Pro card is not a coveted, oh my God, it's all end all be all thing. I literally know that if I wanted to, I could get one. And it sounds cocky and it sounds like, oh my God, he's a dick. But I don't care. I don't think it would be difficult for me to get an IFBB Pro card.
Your answer shouldn't surprise anyone, actually, and doesn't surprise me given the rest of our chat here, to be honest, because your care for titles, placings, that sort of thing, it aligns up with everything you've said before. So if you were to suddenly be like, oh man, I really want that, be like, hey, that's a bit out of character, Oscar.
Yeah.
How do you feel about the 3-year drug-free status, as in you can compete if you've been off all sorts, whatever, after 3 years?
That's a tricky thing because for me, I don't even think a 10-year rule should be. I think it should be lifetime natural, and that's it. But how can you prove that? So obviously, you got to have some type of time limit or whatever. I don't even know how it works. I don't know the stipulations behind it. I think it's good that WNBF has 10. 3 years seems a little too short for me. Like I said, I don't really think about the IFBB that much. I think why not make it 10 years? Like, why 3? It seems weird.
It's a good question. I haven't heard a reason to why it's 3. Maybe there's one out there. I need to Google it. But I'd love to hear their answer on it because I don't quite understand it myself. I think, yeah, like 5+ years is as a minimum, really. 10, fantastic. I think there is cases for maybe therapeutic use, or I don't know, if you just done something dumb, like you took, I don't know, a month cycle, something really small, and there's like those nuanced discussions, but generally like lifetime natural would be quite nice, but maybe not completely realistic, like you said. How about yourself, Ben? How do you feel about the 3-year ruling?
It's not that good. I agree with Oscar. It'd be good to have them all lifetime. You'll still get the benefits, I think, even if you stopped it 3 years ago. Even if you've took it once, I think. I've heard people say that if you took it once ages ago, it's out your system. I don't think it is. I think even if you experimented it with a bit and you're lifting weights that you couldn't do normally, you'll retain some of that, surely. So I do think, 3 years is nowhere near enough.
Yeah, it's a complex thing because it's like, how long had you been doing it? How much have you been taking? It's kind of starts getting complex, which I think is why the 10-year ruling or so on is great. 3, like you said, like you look at some competitors in the like IFBB, the top. Not that you're not gonna get C-Bum coming completely off for 3 years, jumping into like natural shows. You're like, like that's not gonna happen. But I mean, it could theoretically happen. yeah, exactly. Nice. I think as a final question, this might be quite nice because we've talked about the health benefits of staying natural, the longevity. I mean, just you two guys are great examples of that. Like nearing 40 or in your 40s, looking as good as you do, especially your physiques are absolutely outstanding. No doubt you're in great health. Is there anything outside of your training, nutrition, lifestyle habits that you think have contributed to your success? Start with you, Ben.
Have a think. Well, I don't drink. I've not drank for a good 5 years. I used to. Just a certain personality, I suppose. I'm quite just monotonous. I just do the same things over and over. I think my daughters have got it. My eldest daughter's got very mild autism, and my girlfriend says, I want you to go for a test. I think it's come from you. So I think it probably has. So I just think the personality that just is okay with doing the same thing over and over has helped me. And not living like a party lifestyle. It's quite a boring lifestyle in a way. I don't really, like I say, I don't drink. I don't go out too much. But yeah, I suppose it's just helped me just focus on my bodybuilding.
I think one that both you guys have is, at least it's the impression I get from talking to you both, is that relaxed, kind of not taking it too seriously. I don't know if I'm just talking out of turn, Ben, but I don't get the sense you're highly strung. Is that fair to say?
I am towards the end of my diets. I do get a little bit snappy. But yeah, I would say I'm I'm a bit of an anxious person, definitely.
Okay.
So I think that possibly leads to me physique fading a little bit towards the end. I think if you are relaxed a bit like Oscar, possibly it's benefited him. Just like, well, don't care what happens. It might lead to a better physique. But yeah, I'd say I'm a bit of an anxious person.
How about sleep? Is that something like, I imagine you take care of that now. Have you taken care of it for a good amount of time?
Sleep's been an issue for me, just with caffeine in particular. Although I did taper it down quite a bit towards the end of my prep. I've got my Aura ring, which tells me about my sleep. I think the first prep that I did, it wasn't even an issue. 2019, not so much an issue, but definitely worth the last two. And I think caffeine's a culprit. Around about 500 milligrams, and sometimes up to like 800. So that's definitely going to affect your sleep. You're doing all these things to try and control my sleep, blue light blocking glasses and everything. It's like I just need to stop getting these pre-workouts and the monsters.
Energy drinks taste too good, Ben.
Oh, and I'm having both at one point. I just thought I'll have my pre-workout, put my monster on top, and here we go. And I won't even go to gym sometimes. I'd just go for a walk.
That's when you know you're deep in prep. You need a pre-workout for a walk. I can see that. Oscar, for yourself then, are there any things you think, like lifestyle-wise for you, outside of your training nutrition, that you think has helped you?
I sleep a lot, a whole lot. Um, I take 2 naps per day. So actually, this would have been my nap time.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Thanks, Steve.
Don't
But
get grouchy.
no. But yeah, I take 2 naps per day, and I typically get around 7 to 8 hours of sleep at night. I'm pretty laid back. I don't drink. I only drink water. I don't drink juice. I don't any type of sugar I don't consume. Uh, yeah, I don't go out. I don't really do much. I just go to work, the gym, and home. My wife loves it. Trust me.
Sounds like
Honestly, man, I just have a very laid back lifestyle in terms of my mindset and my actions. I try not to move if I don't have to. When I'm in the gym, I want to say I'm laid back, but I'm not. Like when I'm in there, it's a whole completely different person. So if this was happening while I was in the gym, I wouldn't be the same person you're talking to right now because I look at it as work in the sense that I feel like a scientist when I'm in there, trying to figure out what is the perfect movement, even though said movement might not exist. So I just get completely enveloped in that, and yeah. But I have a good sense of detachment where I can leave that there, come home, and be that other person. But yeah, man, I think my lifestyle, the sense of just not trying to be something that I know I'm not, or going after something that is unattainable. I don't care. I'm just gonna sleep, spend time with the kids, and just relax and do what I can to live my life the best I can.
that makes sense. Yeah, I think something that both of you touched upon there is just having good habits, structure, but
Okay.
also not having that much outside of bodybuilding going on. Like that is your passion, that is your love project. So you give a lot of resources to it and do your best within the gym. And I see this with high level athletes. I often reflect on it. Like when you see the Olympics and they do their kind of whatever lift it is, like a clean and jerk, you see them like get hyped for that lift. They are in the zone. And then when they stop, they switch into like relaxation mode. Because it's like, this is the time to be stressed and this is the time to be active and working. And then outside of that, chill as possible. This is just a quick fire question, Oscar. Do you track your steps during prep?
I do. Yeah.
Oh, you do? Okay. I was
Yeah.
almost thinking you'll be
I
one of
track
those guys
my
don't track
steps
the
outside of
steps.
prep as well. I just try to
Cool.
stay within 10,000 during off season, and I bump that up to like 15 to 20 during prep.
Nice. Damn, that's a high step count considering,
It is.
I guess, does your volume come down during prep?
Yeah. Significant.
Yeah.
I'm usually in the gym during prep, probably an hour, hour and a half at most.
Makes
And I
sense.
don't talk to anyone.
Yeah. I don't blame you. Yeah, we become different creatures during prep and then suddenly give us a bit of feed post show, and we're suddenly that much happier. Food is magic. Guys, thank you so much for this chat. This has been an absolute pleasure, kind of digging into your journeys, digging into your thoughts surrounding just natural bodybuilding, how you've got to the level that you're at. I think there's a lot of wisdom and take homes for people, and inspiration as well. It's inspired me for sure. If people want to keep up to date with your journeys, where's the best place for them to reach out to you if you want to give a shout, Ben?
Instagram is my main place, and Facebook. My name on there is Ben Lloyd Fitness.
Amazing. I'll make sure that's linked in the description. And yourself, Oscar?
Just Instagram, the professor. I actually have to follow Ben because apparently I didn't follow him because I'm an asshole.
We're making connections, and it's great stuff.
Man, like,
guys,
he's
thank
one of the
you
best
so
in the
much
world,
for
and
your
I'm
time.
over here just So you're getting a follow today, buddy.
Well, appreciate it. I
Yeah,
haven't got as many
be...
as you, so I need it.
You might be in an overall next year. Who knows? It sounds like you're both going to be at potentially WNBF Worlds. So let's hope for
next
a
year
first
off.
place.
Actually, I might just skip next year.
God, cut it out. Come on.
Thank you so much, guys. Thank you so much for listening. We'll talk to you soon. Take care.
Thank you.
Thank you.